Hi, I'm Bianca.
And I'm Latira, and welcome to Melanated Movie Moments. Whew, so Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange. Um, so here's the thing. I love and hate the movie at the same time.
I can understand that. And again, I say this every episode, particularly when we talk about MCU movies. We try really hard not to spoil and give you everything about a movie. However,
Right.
if you have not seen this movie at all and you really, really want to see it,
don't
you might want
to
watch this after, because there are some things that it's hard to bring up or talk about without giving little nuggets of stuff you might not want to know. So
right. Yeah.
I felt I didn't hate it. Y'all know I am by MCU. I try to enjoy it regardless. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the Eternals. If we're going back to that, y'all watch that video if you haven't.
If we comparing, I damn right.
I find the movie to be good. It could have been great. I almost think it's a case of a movie that there's a thing called fan service where you try to put things in that people are asked about or excited about. And while I enjoyed it, it also felt like you might have gave me too much. Like you might have tried to throw in like everything we asked for in it. And there were moments where I still enjoyed it, but I was like, this is a lot in a movie that actually it's not an excessively long MCU movie. So I enjoyed it. But sometimes I was like, you're almost giving me too much of what I asked for in this. We got this pop-up. We got this person playing this character that y'all wanted. We got this person coming from this. We got a little bit of this. We got horror. We got funny. It was like, whoa.
Slow it down. Yeah. So my biggest issue was with a specific character. Like, where did you come from?
Oh, America?
Yes. Like, and I'm pretty up to date on all things MCU. I'm not gonna lie, I missed a few episodes of What If, but I saw enough of the valuable ones to know, like, about the certain panel of superheroes and things like that. So I was well aware of most things.
Yes.
Still trying to figure out where America came from.
America is a character that I think, as we're trying to go into this next realm of the MCU, and I think it could be a fun character, perhaps for their own. This character seems like they could be ripe for a Disney spinoff introduction and then come back into the movies, because there is a lot of fun things they could do when you get into this character and what happened and what they're searching for. It can be part of MCU, but I think some fleshing her out, even if it's like a 4-episode short something could help. Because in this movie, to me, the casting, could I've seen like the side by side of the comic and the person, like good. I think it'll be fun. But in this movie, they felt like a plot device, like kind of like, we're not fully fleshed out. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about where they're from, and they're just kind of made to move along the other characters. Like they're the thing this character wants, and this character has to learn and protect, but you're there as a plot.
Right. And that just didn't sit well with me. Yeah. And especially because, everyone has not read the comics, right?
Yes.
Everyone is not aware of the history behind a lot of these things with the comics. So some things just don't make sense if you might not have been even old enough to read the comics, right?
Yeah.
Or have access to them. So it was just like, come on, MCU, like, give me a baby nugget of history.
Yeah.
A baby nugget.
Yeah. Like maybe earlier on have a little, there's a part later in the middle where you kind of see that character struggle, how they got there. But like at the beginning, they're just there. And MCU is good about, I'm going to throw you in some action and then we're going to back up and get to it. That's fine. But I almost wish a little bit sooner, even if it was them having a moment by themselves, might have been 5 minutes long, just to give something.
It could have been anything.
But I will say, one, and I mentioned horror early, to people on here that don't watch horror movies. I don't tend to either, so I don't want you to get scared away from this movie because I said that, but it's very horror light.
Yes.
I want to say for MCU.
Yes.
And Sam Raimi is a director who has done Evil Dead movies and movies that I will probably never watch. And has done other movies too. He's done past Spider-Mans and stuff, but there's definitely some elements. Like there's a couple parts on here that I did look away for a moment just because I was like, oh, this visual. I can't look at the big eyeball. I'll put it that way. Like I was like,
so I thought it was just me, Bianca. I was like, I thought this was a superhero.
it's horror light. Like they have the comedy. Like first of all, Benedict Cumberbatch could read the book, but him and Elizabeth Olsen killed it. They came in there like, we are finna play these. We've played them for a while, but we finna come with it. And I was about to say they did, and it's hard because it's hard to talk about some parts of this movie, but I will say the journey of Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen acting in it made you really, again, like some other characters, understand even when you disagree with what they're doing, or you're like, oh no, like you get a sense of grief and longing that still runs through in a way that's not redundant, because it could have been we've watched them go through this now for how many movies, but in this movie it still felt like, no, I'm not over it. Like I get this is
it was real
that's
pain.
The best way I can say it without spoiling something that you find out in the first 20 minutes about what they're doing, but still you need to have that moment. So.
Yeah, no, you could tell that it was real pain. And I will say this, love Mary-Kate and Ashley, but Elizabeth is the one. Listen, Elizabeth is the talent in that family.
And I think it's because Elizabeth actually, I don't know I haven't read about their background, about how they got into it, but maybe some lessons were learned about what happened with the older two and how it was run, because Elizabeth actually seems to be continuing to act because they enjoy it, because they were allowed to come into it how they want. They weren't forced from being two, and like it feels like this is what you want to do.
Right.
That was what they was forced to do, to the point that it became something they hated and they had to try to figure themselves out, where it's like it feels like this is what she wants to do. Like
right. I mean, and that is probably true. But it was definitely, it's one of those movies, like the first Doctor Strange, I can watch that movie over and over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. With this one, it would be a situation where I would only watch it again if I am taking the time to watch all of the MCU, in order. Yeah. It's not one of those movies that I'm like, oh, I need to see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I don't need to see it again.
It was made to carry a lot. And again, I'm not saying these movies have to be long. MCU usually does a good job with pacing, because even their long movies don't necessarily feel long. Mm-hmm. But again, Doctor Strange actually is, I think it was like just a little over 2 hours, but it was so much in this movie. Like it's a lot packed into this movie. And when I tell y'all fan service, while those moments are excitable, and if this was a different show where it was like, hey, we're going to be talking through, and if we spoil it, like, don't watch this, there are things you can watch to do that. There's so much to dissect in little moments when they're like, this came up, or I didn't know they were going to show these people playing this role. And that's a good shout out to What If. But then this is a character that people want to see this actor play this person, but we don't know if they really will. Like, there's a lot of like, we heard y'all and we want to throw it in.
They also threw a question mark in with a specific character on that panel. Again, we apologize. These are baby spoilers. We're not giving full names and details, but these are baby spoilers. But one specific character on that panel, I was like, how are you that person? Because you can't, that's not who. Did y'all watch WandaVision? I was confused.
Yeah. The multiverse of basically, okay, if y'all have seen What If, there are some things that pop up that are very What If related, not just with Doctor Strange, but with like at least one person on that panel, because they're seen in that part in What If and what would have changed to make them this person.
Right.
And there's another person on the panel that was not played around with on What If, but it's obviously the same concept, but we didn't see that story of something must have changed in the arc with these other two characters where a different character became. But they didn't show us that, so which is fine.
It's but question marks.
There's a lot of question marks, and there is another character from another popular series that's been done wrong in many movies. Many came up. That was a leader of a crew. Yeah, and because I'm a nerd and I watch all these videos, a lot of people have asked for this person to be cast as this character, and they came in this movie as this character. But there's a question mark with that, because it was like, is that a wink to the fans, and we're not going to actually see them in another multiverse become this person? Or was it a setup to be like, no, you'll see them in your universe eventually? So I don't know if it's a one-off or if that is we got them for you. Just wait. You're going to see them again in a different
So I think we're going to see a different rendition of that character.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about. I think we're going to see a different rendition of that character, but they had to merge the two worlds, because if you watch MCU and if you're familiar with comics, you know that this particular group is technically a part of the MCU. So
Yes.
like if you watched Endgame, if you read the comics, you know there are specific people missing from the fight scene.
Yes.
Because those two worlds have not merged.
Exactly.
You know, legal stuff, right?
We got a lot of worlds we still haven't merged in, which is like, we're gonna be in our older years. They still gonna be.
Yeah, so I think it's a thing that because these things have to be merged in, some of the stories are going to be like, we're gonna be like, wait, what? But it's because we have to merge in these worlds who previously weren't a part of MCU, which should be. And I'll just give y'all an example. Fantastic Four was supposed to be a part of MCU.
Yes.
But because I believe Sony had the rights to it,
yeah,
they couldn't put them in the storyline. So they would do other things to reference it without referencing it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that the rights are now back with MCU, those storylines can come up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's another thing about Doctor Strange is that because MCU finally has the rights back to speak on certain characters, or Disney or whoever
it is,
whoever negotiated the contract, now they can tell more of the story that aligns with the comic. But the downside to that is there are a lot of question marks, and that's what this movie did for me. And that's why I was like, I loved it, because I'm like, whoo, Benedict, man, look, you went from being nominated for an Oscar to being the bomb Doctor Strange again, right?
He is awesome doing both worlds. And I think that also shows that MCU helped elevate the superhero genre, where now it's not considered like a step down. Like you can get these award-winning folks, or they can get award-winning parts even while playing a comic book character. Like it's.
But like even these movies get nominated for their the sets and all these things.
This one probably will get some visual effects if it stays in people's mind long enough. Because I will say they have some really cool shots and spinning and like. And I will say this part, to me, now, y'all don't come in the comments. I'm aware there have been violent sequences in other MCU movies. I have seen it. I think enough time has gone by that we know in the Endgame movies, we literally saw Thanos break Loki's neck on camera. Like that's not a spoiler by now, y'all. Just saying.
It's not.
There has been violent moments on camera. They usually are stretched out, but we do see them occasionally, right? I still think Doctor Strange, particularly a sequence that references some of those new characters we were talking about. I won't say what happened, Swim and How. Has to be one of the most violent sequences I have seen them graphically do in any of the MCUs. And y'all, when I tell you it's like a back-to-back sequence of oh, y'all showed that. I just knew it was a camera cutaway coming. No.
I thought that too. I was like, this is particularly an aggressive approach to violence.
There you go. It was more aggressive because they've shown violence, and they don't always do the cartoony, never show it. There are moments where they go ahead and show you. I just gave you a reference of when we saw Loki's neck get broken. Like they'll show it, but usually if they do show it, that's like the graphic piece in the middle of not being as graphic, like they spread it out. This definitely had some, not just the jump moments and some things throughout that were a little more graphic, but there's a particular sequence that if you've seen the movie, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't seen the movie, you will know when it comes up.
Absolutely.
Where I didn't have to turn away from me because it wasn't beyond, I just didn't expect it in a way. And it had several, I'm going to show you.
And I was like, I did close my eyes a couple of times, like, whoa, I wasn't ready. I did. I'm not gonna lie. But like, again, overall, I think I would give the movie and not because it wasn't well written. It does not sit in the caliber of MCU. It was just like you said, it was a lot. And then I had too many questions.
Yeah.
Where I didn't have prior Easter eggs to address them.
So it's a good movie. You definitely need to see it. I don't feel like it's a movie that if you're someone that likes to keep up with these, that you can afford to skip. I do think you need to watch it. I'll give it a B, not even a B plus. I won't quite do it. I don't know if I'm a B minus or just a B, like a 85, like a middle, because of the carrying of the acting, of some other touches, of how they handled a lot of stuff with Doctor Strange that I think needed to be handled to get more into the depth of the character and the character growth. I think that was really good for that character's growth. Like that part I thought was really good to keep moving him along, still have him grow and still have this journey of who he is, who he's becoming, and addressing both his flaws and his strengths. I thought that part I really enjoyed how they handled that. It's good. There are 2 cutscenes. I will tell you the last one's going to annoy you because it's not really, it's just the wink, wink. No, it's not. It's not about anything upcoming.
I was like, for that. I was so annoyed by that.
Yeah, it was almost like, did I get punished for knowing to stay? Because you're almost making fun of me staying.
Bruh, I was like, y'all playing with me, right? You got to be playing with me for this. I will
say, I found out a character that cutscene references that's in an earlier scene, and I didn't know this till after the fact because I didn't watch Evil Dead movies, and I know for people that watch horror, if you're watching this and you are a horror fan, you'll be like, how have you not seen it? Because I don't watch horror. But that character was a main character in the Evil Dead series, and it was riffing off of something that happened to them in that. So it's like a little meta joke for the people who follow that director, even in his horror as well. So I get that part. And that was referenced in the scene in the movie, not the cutscene though. So the cutscene still annoyed me after the fact. Yeah. But the first cutscene is one of those things that we done brought in another big person who is playing a character that I had to look up, I'll be honest. And when I looked it up, I said, oh, cool. That obviously is going to reference some stuff as Doctor Strange continues, including some things you'll see that's happened to Doctor Strange by the end of this movie. So
yeah, so for the first time in a long time, Bianca and I agree on the grade of this movie and just our comments.
Yeah, so we do go see it again. Is it the top 3, 4 of all them? No, but it's a solid good. So I'm sorry, MCU set the bar so high that we're saying good almost in like this down way. It's not a bad movie at all. Go see it. Like it's an enjoyable, it's a really good film. It's just they sometimes make great films. So but go see it. You need to see it. Trust me.
Yes. And so staying in the vein with the MCU, we're gonna start talking about these trailers. Woo-hoo. And the first one is Thor Love and Thunder. Is that
Love and Thunder coming out July 8th. So that's coming out really soon.
Really soon. So y'all will end up getting an episode about that, just so y'all know.
That's not the movie that she will not watch. So we will get Thor. Y'all, when we were looking at the trailers, there have been so many teaser trailers, but luckily they had recently, I guess a trailer, which I liked. I think it gives away a little more, but all trailers do. I almost was like, this movie almost could have just dealt with a teaser trailer because we're going to see it anyway. You almost didn't have to.
But I also think with trailers nowadays, sometimes they put the cut scenes in trailers. I have seen them do that.
You're right.
I have seen them do that where you go watch the movie and you're like, well, where is
that scene? And you get a
snippet. You get a snippet of what that scene was, but not what the trailer shows.
Right.
And I think Marvel does a good job of that, because even when I saw the Doctor Strange trailer, I thought I could pinpoint, oh, bam, this is how the movie's gonna go. And again, I never thought of that America character. Like that never dawned on me how that would play out. So sometimes I think it's okay, even though the whole movie is in the trailer, a lot of times it's context. You know what I'm saying? And it's timing. So while we will know these particular scenes, we don't understand timing.
That is true. No, you're right. And MCU will completely be like, you thought.
They will.
That's not, or they good for being like, child, that was a dream sequence. That ain't even in the,
right. So you see it and be like, oh, that's not what happened. So I'm excited to see it though. I'm excited. I think it's hilarious that they let Thor stay fat after Endgame and was like, he got to work out because he was fat.
To show it, to be like, this actually takes a moment. Like, we're gonna get Chris Hemsworth back to the Chris Hemsworth that he got casted to be or whatever. However,
we're gonna show him out of shape because that's what Thor did.
Yeah, and it's gonna follow. Obviously, it seems his mental state, because in this one, it seems like we're back to the Thor that it's gotten out of his depression, which was a big reason in Endgame. It was like, jokes aside, it was like a physical manifestation of what was going on up here. The man just saw all these people die and he couldn't help them. Like, so, but it's like, now we're out of that. You're going to see him cracking jokes again. You're going to see the Thor. It feels like, which I'm glad about, the Ragnarok-ish Thor, as then we're leaning into the fact that Chris Hemsworth has this timing and this comedy and these quick clips that keep it moving, as opposed to Dark World Thor, which looks like, oh my gosh, this movie is dragging.
So here's the fun part though. So like, you know, Thor is not my favorite MCU character. Don't hate him. He's just not one of my favorites.
Right.
Like Spider-Man is probably my least favorite. So, you know, I force myself to watch those because I understand where all these movies play out in the MCU. So I like that this movie seems to pull from all of the previous Thor movies. You know what I'm saying? So there are going to be, based on the trailer, there are going to be the reintroduction of some characters that we previously had access to, and how they've evolved. They're going to bring back Valkyrie, who I love. They bringing them Guardian of the Galaxy people, and I'm like, meh. But I get the dynamic of the relationship, so I understand why they're a part of the story. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. I do think they're going with the whole, what is it called, camp theme, kind of how they did Wonder Woman 84. I feel like the movie is looking very campish, and I'm trying to figure out why media is going in that direction again. But
I think because the most successful Thor movie, again, Ragnarok, played with the camp, and it seemed to have hit for that character, because they had struggled in the first two movies of Thor. Seems to be more popular in our Avengers movies than in his standalone, and trying to figure out why. And it was like, well, he's a little funnier in the Avengers movies, kind of like they play with he's not really dumb, but he has some little moments of this entitled God. So like, I think they're bringing that in. What is interesting is this longer trailer actually shows the villain a little more, whoever we're dealing with. And the villain seems very dark. Like, it's literally gray and white and all this stuff, like very dark. So I'm wondering the balance of that. Is it going to be like a clash, or is it going to be a nice balance to the camp, but we still have a really, really dark, to me seems darker than his sister in the other movie, like really kind of dark, dry feeling, at least in the clips we saw. Again, there's only a few, but this one actually is like, oh, there's the bad guy. Now I see what's happening. They don't explain, like you said, Valkyrie's back. The return of Natalie Portman playing Jane, but in a whole different form. I'm guessing the movie is going to tell us how they came. I will say the trailer does not give you any of the, well, how did she get back and how is she like this? She Thor, basically. Like they don't give you a piece of that. They're like, we know this. We've already leaked that this is who this person is, so we'll show this in the trailer, but the trailer shows you nothing of how this happened. And that's like, come see the movie.
So we'll see. I'm very interested.
So I'm excited about that. Again, July 8th. It will be a movie we review, so we'll probably go ahead and move on to the next one, because we'll talk more about Thor when we actually see it.
Correct.
But next one, coming out July 22nd, a date that Latira does not have circled on her calendar.
Nope.
Is her reaction to this movie, which is Nope. By Jordan Peele, written, directed, produced. It's a full Jordan Peele production. I will say a couple of the actors of this, because we said the other one, and I do have them down. So we have Jordan Peele with one of his favorite, dang near his muse, Daniel Kaluuya, is in it. Kiki Stay Book Palmer.
Listen.
And then Stephen Yeun, who I'm only saying who is on what's that? The Walking Dead. He was a character on there. I didn't really watch The Walking Dead, but I know enough of it to be like, this was a character on there, and everyone was mad when he died on that. So he's in this movie too.
Listen, I'm going to say this much. First of all, Jordan Peele, I will not be watching this movie. I appreciate your explanation for the title, because ultimately your title is for people like me who be like, nope, not doing that. Yes. So I will not be watching this movie. I might buy a ticket just to support you because, root for everything Black, right? That's my thing. But I just don't understand you. And I'm going to tag you in this post. I'm going to tag you in this episode, because I want you to explain to me why you want to be a horror director so bad. I don't understand. But I do appreciate, I have a love for writers, directors, producers who just have a kinship with people. So like Jordan Peele and Daniel, who is a voice fisher, gonna bring that up. And like Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, I am very fond of those relationships, especially when it's the brotherhoods, because it just shows the friendship and the love and the respect between these men. So I do enjoy that. And like you said, Keke always paid Palmer. Listen,
who is can't
even say sorry to this woman because she is getting the bag. Okay.
All the bag. I will say the longer trailer takes away some of the mystery that they have been enveloping, but a lot of us honestly had guessed, so this should not be anything new. Even if you saw the teaser, it's been guessed out there. This is basically alien-esque. It has to do with aliens or UFOs, put it that way. We don't know if it's really an alien now, but some kind of UFO horror, scary, however you want to say, movie, but with Black characters in it having reactions that we feel might be more befitting of the culture. Even in the trailer, there are some reactions that they are having, even the name of it, but them being like, oh, heck no. Like, even though they're like trying to figure this thing out, they're obviously, this is just from trailer. I'm going off trailer only, not anything I read, but from the trailer, obviously the flesh out is, okay, y'all guessed it. It's dealing with UFOs. Something happened to these brother, sister, Daniel and Keke are like siblings or partners, not romantic partners, but I believe siblings or cousins or something, whose father or older relative either disappeared or got hurt. I'm saying this because I'm going off the trailer, so some of it is either, but something happened to the figure and they want to record, like, what is this thing? We're going to record it. This is true. We ain't crazy. That's all we know. We don't, after that, it's like, you just see clips of them trying to do the thing. You don't know if they're successful. You see them meet people, but that's see them run. That's the thing that's pulling them in, because at the end of the day, one thing about collective and other cultures too, but as a Black person speaking to Black families, like, look, we're not trying to play with this scary, whatever stuff, but we have a family member that was impacted. So the love for that family member is, we just want to know what the heck is going on. Not we're just running into danger just to run into danger. Like, it's like, what happened to our person? But at the same time, oh no, like, what is this? So I'm on the fence about watching it. I was on the fence about watching Us, and I did watch Us, which actually ended up not for me being as horror. It was more psychological. I can deal with that if I'm in the right mood. This one we will see, because UFO kind of alien-ish movies can also sometimes go on the line where I can deal with them, and then some of them go way into that line where it's like, whoa, I can't, this is messing with my head. So I got to figure out where this movie's going to fall. I think I'm going to try to go see it, but I might wait a week or so to hear from some people that have seen it of how far it falls into the horror genre. Like, is it just more thriller and I might look away a couple of times, or is it, nah, B, I don't know if this is what you want. So we'll see. And
that is my issue with Jordan Peele. Like, I don't know which are you going to take, like you said, take me suspense thriller with a plot twist, or straight Stephen King type horror. And that's where you going? No, sir. No, I'm all right. So we'll see. I love that they're doing this. I love just seeing all kinds of stories told with us at the center and helmed in a way that's just very realistic, culturally realistic, and everything else. So Jordan, keep doing what you're doing. Can't promise I'll see everything that you do in every genre, but I keep doing what you're doing. Like, keep shaking things up and keep having these amazing actors and keep doing it. But we'll see. I know Latia is not going to see it. I am on the fence. I might. We will see. Well, thank y'all for joining us for this episode. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe to the channel.
Yes, and click the like button. That's something quick to do. You can do that right now while you're watching. There's a little thumbs up. Go on, click it for us. Go ahead and subscribe also. But until next time, enjoy, keep seeing movies. And if there's a trailer or a movie you want us to talk about, feel free to throw it in the comments. We'll look at them, and maybe your suggestion will be on one of our future recordings. Yeah. All right.